Hello lovelies, it's Lorian here and I'm here to bring you a review of the Everyday Witch Tarot. This is by Deborah Blake and the art is by Elizabeth Alba. I've had this and used this for quite a while now, so I'm not actually going to go through the cards one by one. What I want to focus on, and this is what they look like, what I want to focus on is the visuals, the cardstock, which will only take about a minute, then how they connect with me as a reader, the types of reading or the feel, the personalities, and then how accurate they are in the readings that I've done for people. So I'm just going to shuffle them a little bit now because I want to get them in a different order as to maybe what I've just had for a previous reading. But you'll see as we go along anyway, I'm sure that the visuals are really nice. You can tell which is reversed when you put them down, so they're very simple design wise, I would say, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes the more complicated a visual, the more stressful or the more inaccurate a reading can be, in my experience anyway, because I think you can get lost in the details too much as to rather than just the feel of the card and what it's trying to tell you. Okay, so I'll just put these here and then just do a little bit of a run through. So obviously the feel of them is very much a sort of a simplistic but nonetheless really pretty and bright card. The cardstock itself is kind of bendy, so be sure to, if you're going to do that kind of bend shuffle, be sure that you are working with the kinks as well, because I do feel that they would probably come through for you. But yeah, the queens are all sitting on a throne in particular, and they generally have a cat. There's normally a cat in every single card. Obviously it's witch, it's familiars, and I just feel like there's lots to take away from this. I do feel that they are very, oh, that's one of my favourites, as above so below for the star. I think that's a really nice gesture as to how to show that particular card, because it just feels so natural and open and warm, and actually a lot of these cards do as well. They do feel really nice. And then you got the Five of Cups, the Knight of Cups. My favourite card is the Nine of Pentacles, and the depiction of Nine of Pentacles is so good. And that, to me, it really does sum up the Fool. I mean, it just has a beautiful feeling of it, so it's so nice to see that. And I honestly feel like the more that we connect with the cards, the more you get from it anyway. So just the birds, the ship, you see something different every time, and if they're overly complicated, I just think the meaning gets lost. But yeah, very strong. There's my favorite card. Yay! So basically, I always say this is me. I've got a book, I've got some wine, I've got some chocolates and a cat around my shoulders, and I'm very happy in nature. It's even got my hairstyle. So yeah, I just think that this is a really nice simple deck to use if you're just coming off your first deck, for instance, and you're just wanting to learn a bit more, or you're just wanting to feel like there's something else out there. This is a really nice witchy deck, especially if you're a witch or you're trying to learn the tarot. How they connected with me was pretty instantly. Very easy. You don't have to struggle with them. I didn't journal at all with them. I just was like, okay, I know what you mean. And through working with them, I think is the better practice for me, rather than sitting with them and talking to them, because that way, when they surprise me, I'll be able to use that in the reading. And actually, a lot of the time with my clients and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, okay. And it just comes through. They still give me different tidbits now and again. And I mean, it's the same, it could be the same with any tarot deck, but these more so, they're very happy. They're happy to be used. They're happy to connect with me. They like doing this. I mean, I know for anybody else, maybe looking at this reading, or looking at this review, going, what are you talking about? The cards can't be happy. Energies, they can be. Tarot cards are very aware, I feel, and the more energy you put into them, the more, I think, response you get back. So that's definitely something that I think is coming through from them. But yeah, they were very simple to connect with, very simple to read. Sometimes it can throw you when you've been doing basic cards or stuff like that, and you see something that's, oh, okay, so what does the Knight of Pentacles mean? I mean, for me anyway, the court cards are very difficult for me to understand. I've done this for so many years, almost 10 years now, and I still don't get the court cards. It just will not compute for me very well. Sometimes, though, I know instantly what they mean. And I think with this one, this is just kind of like going forwards, you know, and that feeling of being free. I mean, it does come with a big colour explanation book, but I just think these are simple, but they're also able to give you an insight as to your own interpretation and see what your own style is. So they're not going to impart their style onto you, they're just like a blank canvas, and you can actually look at this. I mean, this is judgment, you know. This is a totally innovative and different way of pursuing judgment with the big angel. So they're not oppressive, they're not really deep, they're not really, well, they're deep, but they're not like, oh, you must do this. And it's just kind of like very practical, very, I mean, the type of reading it is just very practical reading. It's kind of like, look, this is a surface level. You know what you need to do, get on with it. And I really appreciate that, to be honest. I think it's a case of, you know, we're not going to fanny around, we're not going to say this deep spiritual meaning, we're just going to say you need to get on with this, you've got this potential, carry on. But they're very supportive too, and I feel like they come through with a sense of well-being that maybe other decks don't quite get sometimes. I mean, the Wheel of Fortune, I really love this as well. It's kind of like spin the wheel, you know, literally the Wheel of Fortune. So it's kind of tongue-in-cheek on some of them. I know a few people's issues with it. It seems very oldie worldy. There's loads of witches, obviously, and little cats and stuff. And then you occasionally get to one where they could be, I'm just going to try and find one. You occasionally get to one where it's modern day. And I like that. You know, witches are not in the past. Witches are here now, alive, breathing, conjuring. And I think this is just basically a case of, you know, blending the old with the new. I mean, if it throws you, fair enough. But I don't think that's the point of the cards, to all be sort of uniform. I think it's just to be an accurate depiction of the card it is explaining, really. And again, this is something that I really love. They're going on a broomstick instead of a boat, and I just feel that's so good. So yeah, there's no particular theme with any particular card. It's just like a witch in the situation. And I feel like, you know, one of them, this is a lovely card. One of them modern ones is where somebody's doing yoga poses, or somebody's at a meditation class, or somebody's on a motorbike and choosing which way to go in the chariot. And I just think that's a very innovative way of putting it, and also obvious way. You know, it's not going to be like, oh, what does this card mean? It's a symbol of a circle. Like, okay. So I do feel like, here you go. So people say, oh, well, this is different. This is totally in a different tone than the rest of them. And that may be right, but it never throws me. I think it just brings it to, like, the Hierophant to the real front. Like, I think it's as above and so below deck. You know, the so below is all about practical everyday. And I think that this just throws in a little bit of that now and again. As for its accuracy, they're pretty accurate. You know, I did a phone reading the other night, and it was something that was very positive, but also as soon as I brought these out, I was like, oh yeah, he's been betrayed before. And immediately she was like, yeah, he has. He's had a big betrayal. But the immediate cards have come out. They don't fanny around, you know. They're definitely strong. I mean, I love this interpretation of the Ace of Swords. Like, I've seen this in a meditation before I even got this deck, so that's something that really shows you how it connects with you. But I do feel that a lot of this, you know, it will be dependent on how you personally want to connect with them, what you want from the deck. I just wanted a nice deck to work with, and I have that. I have a really nice, strong deck. I mean, this is so nice. Occasionally you do get a little dog. But I just think, and I love this interpretation of death as well. If ever you needed a different interpretation of death, I think this is a wonderful one. Absolutely gorgeous. Cutting the cord of fate, door opening, big change. I just love it. I really, really do. Sorry, the desk is on a little bit of an incline here, so I'm just trying to stop them all from floating off. Again, cardstock, they're very slippery. So Just be wary of that too. They're not matte, they're quite shiny, so they will easily slip off things if you're trying to get, you know, a smooth surface. But I do honestly feel like this is a very strong deck. You should invest in something like this, I think. Deborah Blake, big name in witchcraft, she knows her stuff. I mean, even from reading the book, you know that. And the artwork is absolutely lovely. Elizabeth actually did a pretty damn good job. Oh, here we go. Here's the person who's temperance and balance, and oop, I'm feeling like very modern, but at the same time, I just think it's a matter of perception. Like, to me, this could be my grocery shop, you know? So it just depends, I think, on what you want and how you want to interpret things. I mean, this here, this could be perceived as quite gender neutral because there's no boobs anywhere, there's no things hanging out. So, you know, it could be two men, two women, two non-binary, it doesn't matter. It's just representative of what's going on. And look at the little kitties with the little love hearts. Everything has been thought, and this is so good, everything has been thought. The interpretation is great, again, with the modernness there, but again, it doesn't interrupt me when I'm reading. I still know what it means, and I think that's the key thing with it. But they are accurate for me. They come out straight away. Sometimes they surprise even me. They prefer just, I think, the basic readings, not specifically career, not specifically love. They do all avenues for me. Sometimes card decks have an affinity with, or an affinity with, deep spiritual meanings or career changes or love, and I use those decks for particular readings. If it's just a general energy, I will use this one to see kind of what will surprise us and what will come through. And I think that if you have the time to do a few test readings with this deck, should you have it, or if you have this feeling of, okay, I want to see how this is going now, and how, you know, after a while I want to pick it up and see if I can just, you know, bring forwards this reading, I think this is a really cool deck to use. And actually, I do feel it's a very all-round deck. I've used it all times of the year. You know, it's not a spring one, it's not an autumn one. You can use it whenever you like, because all seasons are depicted. Oh, what a lovely card to end on. But yeah, I do highly recommend this deck. It's the the Everyday Witch Tarot by Deborah Blake and Elizabeth Alba. And I just feel like this is such a good deck to have, and I highly recommend it. For more tarot reviews or for tarot readings, subscribe to the channel and put the little notification bell. But in the meantime, I wish you all the very best. Let me know how you get on with this. I would love to know. And I'll speak to you guys very soon. Bye.